What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are back in the shop. Like I said in my last video, we are putting in some new injectors on the truck. Got two injectors that have been going out on it since I bought it. Trying to make them last as long as I could, but they're starting to give me some issues now on starting. Nothing crazy, but I want them to be all fresh in there. So we're going to be putting in some new, bigger injectors. Nothing too crazy, but bigger injectors from Alien Power. They're AC code injectors. So for those of you that aren't familiar with 7.3 injectors, that means that they are 160 shot or 160 cc 0% nozzle. So the 160 cc is how much fuel it can shoot in or deliver over, I think, 1,000 shots. And the 0% is the nozzle size, and 0% is a stock nozzle. So these are going to be single shot injectors, which are an upgrade on the Super Duty. They went away from those on the OBS to try to get rid of some noise, but lost a little bit of efficiency. So hopefully we'll be gaining that back as we go along. But we're going to take you along with this. Hopefully it goes smoothly, and we'll get you on an update. Alright, so here you go, guys. A little bit into it. As you can see, you got the intercooler piping off, got the intake piping off. Then you got your engine harness plug here, which is a 10mm bolt. It's got the bracket that it connects to, which also connects to the rest of the intake pipe. So we're going to be taking that bracket off, taking the harness off or unplugging it, and then that'll pretty much give us complete access to the valve cover to start pulling that off. So here you guys can see that right behind the CCB is another bolt for the valve cover and or a nut for the valve cover. And most people end up taking off the crankcase vent to get that out, but you can get it out with a wrench instead of a socket. It's a little slower, but it saves you from having to replace the O-rings that are underneath the crankcase vent, because if you take that off, you are pretty much guaranteed to need to replace those O-rings. We got the valve cover off. You can see all four injectors, injector 2, 4, 6, and 8 on this side. You got your valve cover harness right underneath it, and you got each one of these individual plugs to each one of the injectors. So from here, what you have to do is unplug that plug from the injector, and then you got these little bolts down right there for the oil spout, and there you go. You got to take that oil spout out, and then you can undo the bottom bolt right below the injector right there, and with that one out you can slide the collar up and pull the injector out. We'll show you that as we take it out. bolted. There's no tricks to it. You just gotta kind of get back there and get all the bolts. It is a snug fit, to say the least. There we go. It's pretty much the same thing as the other side. All the wiring is the same. Undo the wiring, undo the bolts, and we'll pull the injectors out and let them drain. We'll go back to the other side and start putting the new injectors in. There you go. Got all the injectors out. You can see down into the injector cups, and then right up to the right of it you see that little shiny metal prong, and that is the glow plug that we will be taking out. As you pull these injectors out, you'll see that a bunch of oil will be draining out of them, and most of that will go down into the cylinder. So it's really important to pull those glow plugs out, whether you're replacing them or not, so you can pump all the fluids back out of the cylinders once you're done.
First, I think. Might as well start with the worst. Copper washer on.
Do we want to do? Just sprayed a whole bunch out onto the floor. Say it again? We just spewed a whole bunch onto the floor. What? Well, that was out of the biggest cylinder. Just keep going until you tell me to stop? Yeah. Alright guys, so we got all the injectors in, got the oil spouts put back on. We just cranked over the engine to drain the cylinders out of the glow plug holes. And now we are going to be putting the new Motorcraft glow plugs back in. If you have any questions on which glow plugs to use, just use Motorcraft. There's been way too many people that have destroyed their engine with cheaper glow plugs. So we're going to put those back in and keep buttoning her up. All right, so we're back. We got all the injectors wired up, all the glow plugs in. Everything's buttoned up, except we're going to try to do the first start with the valve covers off. That way we can actually try to inspect it as it's running. I got the tunes downloaded for the new injectors. Because these are modified injectors, you have to have custom tunes. I'm not sure it's kind of washed out for you guys, but this is the Hydra software. It's plugged in to the connector, which I just have underneath the steering wheel here. But we're going to try to give it its first start. And we're going to see how it goes. I'm guessing it's going to take a little bit of cranking because we bled off all the oil in the high pressure oil system, taking the injectors out, and the fuel rails are empty right now. Hopefully it goes well. It's probably going to take some cranking, so it'll be crank it for 20-30 seconds, give the starter a break, crank it again, give the starter a break, but we'll see if we can get it fired up. Alright, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a better look at the old injectors now that we have them all out. We're just buttoning up the truck right now, but I'm not sure exactly how good or bad these are. This is the first set of injectors I pulled out, but I don't know if you guys can see it, but the tips on these things are just absolutely disgusting. Covered in carbon buildup. I don't think some of them even have access to all the different nozzle holes on them. It was pretty nasty. Obviously it looks like some of them, the O-rings had started to fail. You can see on that one, this one here, that the tip or end of it's starting to get some oil burning on it, as well as that one. I would imagine that those are probably the two cylinders that were testing bad, but I don't know for sure. And then we got the old glow plugs, and then of course we replaced the wiring harnesses on it, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to or not, but I'm glad I did, because whatever these ones were, I don't know what brand they are, but they are some made in China wiring harness, and you can see on a number of the wires that they've started to crack and split open. I don't know if that was any of the problems or not, but it doesn't hurt to get some nice OEM ones back in there. Thankfully, all the glow plugs looks like they're Motorcraft. Didn't have any issues getting those out. None of the tips broke off. Thank goodness. But overall, it's gone pretty smoothly. It's the first time doing it, so it's a bit of a learning curve, but it's gone pretty good so far. Still buttoning it up like I said, and then we got to take it for a drive to keep working the air out of the system. But overall, it's going pretty well. All right, well, we got it all wrapped up. She fired up pretty good. We got it all buttoned up. I think she's pretty good to go. There's still obviously a lot of air in the lines, so I got to get some miles on it and get that air sucked out. I probably won't upload this video until then, so I can get a couple more clips of it driving and everything. But the project is done. She's sitting pretty, sounding good. Seems to be running pretty smooth even with the air. But yeah, I'm gonna get some couple more videos, but if I don't, thanks for sticking along or tagging along, sticking around. If you're this late in the video, it's probably gonna be a long one. Hopefully it's a decent video. If you like it, leave it a like on the video or a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you have any questions, I have no doubt that I missed some stuff or I could go into more detail, so leave me a comment. I'll do my best to answer it. If I can't answer it myself, I'll tell you where to go. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you to my subscribers I already have now. The channel's growing well, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.